I'm not sure what is more infuriating today, but I'll start with this one. These phony bastard patriot cowards, every single one of them. Republican senators blocked legislation introduced by Democrats today that sought to provide medical care to rescue workers and others who got sick as a result of breathing in toxic fumes, dust, and smoke at the site of the World Trade Center attack in 2001 while they were saving people's lives, removing bodies, trying to assess what had happened to this country. And every single Republican voted no. Because, you see, they've promised they are not going to pass any legislation until Obama gives them the tax cuts for the wealthy that they demand. Obama tried. And for some reason, I can't get my mind around this, the Democratic caucus in the Congress said no. Bless you, my children. Bless you, one and all. Obama's statements the other day about his insistence that the Republicans get every single thing they wanted, plus, no more taxes on inheritance. Unless it's over $5 million. We'll give you that. The Republicans have done everything they can to destroy the country, and they continue to do it. God knows what's going to happen 2 years from now. During the next years. Obama better have a very sharp point on his veto pen. And I think Obama better understand that there's no shame to this, but he needs to understand he is a one-term president. He is a one-term. Now it's to the point whether he chooses that and gives the finger to the Republican right wing and the Democratic Party right wing and goes about the business of trying to save the country, which is what we hired him to do. Unless he does that, he's a one-term president. And even if he's a one-term president and he does that, his name will go down in history. It's already an historical name. Barack Hussein Obama. The 40th whatever president of the United States was an African American, not a descendant of slaves. You know, I said this after the midterms. Mr. President, your place in history is already assured. The only thing that's going to come now is your place in history will be colored by the fact that you were an absolute failure because you did not have the courage to stick your size whatever shoes about 9 inches up the collective asses of the Republican Party. And damn these Democrats. Damn these Democrats. And these phony-ass liberals on radio who keep talking about, well, they should sign it, go along with it. Come on, Democrats, back your president. Thank God the Democratic caucus said no. No tax cuts for the wealthy, then nothing. Not even for the people who risked their lives and are now dropping dead like flies because of what they did in Lower Manhattan on September 11, 2001. The Republicans are saying, go F yourself, suckers! Suckers! What were you, cops? Firemen? EMS people? Suckers! The Senate rejected a procedural move by Democrats to end debate on the 9/11 health bill and bring it to a vote. You see, we no longer have majority rule with respect for the minority in this country. In other words, we are no longer a democratic republic because 60 votes were needed just to get the goddamn thing debated. And the move only received 57 votes. 42 votes were against. 41 were Republicans. Harry Reid voted no in a procedural move so they can bring it to the Senate floor again. I don't think that's going to happen, Mr. Reid. You've already screwed up, buddy, with your don't ask, don't tell mistake today. Republicans, you see, were raising concerns about how to pay for the measure. New York City was going to pay 10% of it, and the other 6-point-something billion was to be paid by the feds. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand of New York was the lead Democrat on this. She and others have argued that there was a, don't snicker, moral obligation to assist those who put their lives at risk during rescue and cleanup operations at Ground Zero. A moral obligation. There's not a goddamn Republican in office or out in this country who would understand that term. A moral obligation to assist those who risked their lives and are now dropping dead. Republicans are amoral. They're psychopaths, as Bob Alexander pointed out in his rather lengthy email that quoted a couple of authors who have written about the psychopathology of the leadership, global leadership. And it's not new stuff. This stuff was written decades ago. And today we had a classic example, smartly on the heels of what Bob Alexander sent me the other night. Here are these pig bastards, the Republicans, saying, no! Unless you give us our tax breaks for the wealthy. Jesus, God. It was bad enough that they said no. No tax breaks for the middle class. No unemployment insurance extension. No tax breaks for poor people. No tax breaks for anybody, even if it were taken up to $1 million. And the people over $1 million annual income would have to pay what the tax rate was before George W. Bush destroyed, effectively gutted the country. No. No, no. Do you people, you voters, you Democrats, you Republicans, you Independents, man, woman, Jew, Gentile, gay, straight, do you not understand? It's staring you right in the face. Do you not understand what's going on here? If you do understand, why are you sitting on your asses doing nothing? Why? In England today, in London today, students took to the streets, and they're going to be there tomorrow and the next day and the next day until the police try to beat them all into bloody pulps, protesting a tripling, thanks to the new Conservative government in the UK, a tripling of college tuition, the equivalent of $5,000 a year now, going up to $15,000 a year once the Parliament passes it. And the students in England said F you and got in the streets. What are we doing here? I've said street demonstrations are no longer useful, and they're not. I'm not talking about a street demonstration. I'm talking about every single working person who still has any self-respect. This action by Republicans, the New York Times reports, was a blow to sponsors of the bill who mobilized a network of people across the political spectrum to lobby on its behalf, including New York City Police Commissioner Raymond Kelly, the mayor, Bloomberg, Ms. Gillibrand, the chief sponsor in the Senate, even reached out to former President George W. Bush. Bush never responded. This rancid son of a bitch who stood there in the still smoking ruins, why didn't he get lung troubles and drop dead? He stood there with his bullhorn. Whack, 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 whack. With his arm around a firefighter. You miserable bastard, Bush. You and your cohort of zombies who did this to this country. Everything that is wrong with this country now is on your shoulders. Screw Reagan. You. George Bush did not respond to Senator Gillibrand's entreaties. Entreaties is how the Times puts it. Entreaties, please, Mr. Former President, please speak out on behalf of this. This dry, drunk son of a bitch didn't even call her and tell her no. He just ignored her. In a statement, Mayor Bloomberg chastised Senate Republicans for what he called their wrong-headed political strategy and called on them to allow a floor vote on the bill. Bloomberg said, quote, the attacks of 9/11 were attacks on America. Well, not really. It was an attack on the suckers that lived in lower Manhattan and worked there. Republicans don't give a tinker's damn about those people. Are you kidding me? Come on. So a few hedge fund managers died. Who cares? And Bloomberg said we have a collective responsibility to care for the heroes from all 50 states who answered the call of duty, saved lives, and help our nation recover. What? A collective responsibility? That sounds communist. Collective? The bill called for providing $3.2 billion over the next 8 years to monitor and treat injuries stemming from exposure to all the crap that was in the air. New York City would pay 10% of those costs. The bill also sought $4.2 billion to be set aside to reopen the September 11th Victim Compensation Fund to provide payments for job and economic losses. Oh, no. No, 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 no. The Republicans said no. Nope. No, no, no. No, 1,000 times no. I'll tell you what, if I run across anyone who voted Republican ever, well, who voted Republican in this last election, here in Georgia, and that miserable son of a bitch opens his mouth to me, I will punch his lights out. I will hit him, and you will know that I have struck because I will then be jailed. If any Republican steps up to me and says anything about 9/11 and how we should be doing something, I will punch his goddamn lights out. That is a... Oh, I'm sorry, Kathy. I know. I'm married to you and I have a 6-year-old. I don't care. I am so furious. Somebody has got to be punched by me. I've got to do it. I've got to. Or I'm going to have a damn coronary. Or pee my pants. Or something.
Can I get Neil Bortz over here?
I'd punch him in a second. Any Republican that steps up to me and says anything politically, until I calm down, I swear to God, this is a threat. It's direct. If the police are listening, write it down. Detective so-and-so, officer so-and-so. I will punch the son of a bitch as hard as I can right in the nose and break it. I will. I swear to you, I will.